Do you have a health message that you have a burning desire to go tell it to the world? Do you enjoy teaching? You enjoy
My
sharing
question
your
kind of,
knowledge and you want to go impact other people? Today, we're going to be looking at 8 profitable platforms that you could share your health message with the world. And this question, I'm going to be going through a framework that really came from our online challenge that we recently hosted. And it's a question that Tanya asked, and I'm going to play a clip of her question, and then we're going to dive into one of the answers that was really highly enjoyed by our challenge attendees at the High Income Health Expert Challenge.
my question kind of piggybacks on yesterday when I asked about, how do you find that audience? How do you reach the masses? And you mentioned, direct and indirect competitors. You mentioned, the target audiences and how you can find people that are doing what you're doing. And that way you can kind of learn their lingo and learn how to, be able to better communicate with people.
So what we see here is I'm going to be sharing, she's asking about, she's got a health message. She helps women to regulate their hormones, to go through menopause, to help overcome endometriosis and various women's health issues. And so she is very specialized knowledge in that, and she wants to know how she can find people that she can impact. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 8 profitable platforms that you can share your health message with. And to understand these 8 platforms, we're going to spell the word platform. So if you could remember how to spell platform, you could remember what 8 places you can use to go impact the world. But before we do that, I'm going to share, she talked about this concept that I taught about indirect competitors and direct competitors. So how this works is that how you can be sure that these platforms are interested in having you speak. You want to understand the difference between a direct competitor and an indirect competitor. And what this looks like, let's say for Tanya's example, she's helping with women's hormones. So a direct competitor is someone who is directly teaching women's hormones. And if they're selling the same thing that you are, then they're not going to want you to come to speak to their audience because there's going to be a conflict of interest. They're going to be directly in competition that's not going to be a good fit. So another direct competitor might be someone who's selling hormone balancing supplements. That's one of the things that Tanya provides. So if they also have hormone balancing supplements, that's going to be some issues where many people won't be interested for sharing that message. Or a hormone therapy clinic, that could be questions. A menopause specialist, that would also be some people that may not be as interested in having her to speak there. But if you look at indirect competitors, what you can do, this opens the floodgates of eager audiences without already having tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of your dream clients that are there. So indirect competitors may be like, let's say there's a coach who teaches weight loss for women. Now, weight loss, a coach who helps women to lose weight would be glad to have a hormone specialist who could go in there. Sometimes women have like thyroid issues that makes them have a hard time losing weight. And if someone has expertise on this topic, then they could really connect the dots and help these women to lose weight, and would love to have someone who has a specialized knowledge to come in to a indirect competitor or a complementary message, a complementary offer to present to their audience. Another one is women in business. Sometimes when you're dealing with women in business or professional women, I just saw on LinkedIn, Association of Professional Women's, and these would absolutely love to have someone who's a specialist on women's hormones to be able to share at these locations. Or if someone's teaching holistic nutritionist, these types of audience are going to love to have someone who also comes from a holistic approach on hormone health. That's not a conflict, but that is a really complementary offer. And then there's women's support groups that are offered by nonprofits, by churches, by various locations, women's cancer survivors or women's weight loss or women's through various diseases. And that would be a wonderful place to be able to present this message. There's online support groups, there's offline support groups in different cities, and they hire speakers to to present to their community, and she could share her talks and messages there. Sleep coaches, if there are sleep coaches and they could just be for men and women, just a lot of hormones. It's the hormones that are regulating a lot of our sleep, like melatonin and serotonin are very important for sleep regulation. And if she specializes in just the hormone portion of sleep, then she could really bring in and tie in a lot of her message there. Infertility specialists who help families to be able to get pregnant and start a family. This would be a fantastic place where she can specialize and niche and be a specialist to these audiences that already have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. So I share this with you because you want to write down and identify. When I'm coaching entrepreneurs, one thing that I'll also often do with these health coaches, I help them to identify who are their indirect competitors that they could speak to their audience, and who are their direct competitors that you could understand how are they garnishing attention, how are they successfully breaking through the noise, and what can you model or learn from that experience. And this is very powerful. So now with this in mind, we're going to dive into my platform framework. These are eight profitable platforms that you could present your message. The P in platform stands for podcasts. Podcasts are fantastic for presenting your message. Last month, I was able to be featured on a podcast that had a listening network of over 200,000 people. And the reality is podcasts love authors. Media loves authors. They're looking for someone who is a credible source on the topics that you're speaking about. And so what's great is podcasters are constantly looking for experts to interview on the subject. And the demographics of podcast listeners tend to be people who enjoy personal development, who are interested in learning skills, and those tend to be more affluent buyers. They're more likely to be six-figure or above income earners. So the quality of the audience of podcasts tend to be a lot higher quality and more likely to be willing to pay for health services as well, and health coaching and guidance. And these are people who actually care about their body and love to develop. So, and because I wrote a book, I've been also featured on podcasts with over 142,000 listeners, and it's just because podcast is constantly looking for experts on a subject. And what's really powerful is when you have a book, they will gladly want to invite you, versus a lot of times the potential guest that doesn't have a book. So that's something where I'm frequently speaking about my book and expertise on podcasts, and it's a powerful way. If you think about it, there's like 200,000 of your dream customers who are gathered together who would be interested, these indirect competitors who would want you to share your message to your dream clients, their audience. And they've already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of hours years building their audience and adding value to them and supporting them. So that's all resources that you don't have to invest to be able to have access to your ideal clients, which is really powerful, because anything that you lack in resources, could be audience or the influence, you could always make up and leverage. You could leverage other people's audiences. And so how many of you would like to be introduced as an authority in your field? Comment podcast below if that is a platform that you could see yourself talking about your health message, potentially your best-selling book, and just being featured in the media as an expert on your topic. So the P in platform, it stands for podcast. What about the L? The L in platform stands for live videos. There's opportunities to go live on Instagram, on Facebook, and Facebook groups. You can go live on YouTube. There's a lot of opportunities for you to do live videos to other people's audiences. In fact, a friend of mine, her name is Amanda Moxley, and she's a speaker coach, and she helps people to create wealth in a weekend through learning how to speak from stage and speak to sell. And she was sharing with me how she got this idea that she can go back and speak to her happy, satisfied clients and say, hey, I'd be willing to do a live video with you on your Instagram, your Facebook if you'd like, and we could just share some of the principles that I teach. Would that be of interest to you? And by doing that, she scheduled she went live on one of her clients who had less than 500 followers on Instagram and less than 1,000 followers on Facebook. And because of those live speaking engagements, those live videos, it directly resulted in someone in another challenge where she was able to make $25,000 that was brought to her business that would not have been there if she did not do the live videos on her satisfied clients' accounts. So there's a lot of possibility with live videos. You can do live videos on your own platform. In fact, I go live every Tuesday at 9 Pacific time. I'm going live right now. And then on Facebook, on my Facebook profile, and through these live videos, we have the opportunity to connect with more people. In fact, last Tuesday, just 7 days ago, I went live and I started teaching about the topic 5 ways to turn your existing content into a best-selling book. And this is really a power of consistency because at the time I wasn't quite sure what I was going to talk about because there's some people who usually help with the videos. They were kind of out of town on my team and I was like, well, I'm not sure what to talk about. So what I did is I grabbed my book on high-ticket health coaching and I opened it up. And as I was opening the book, I was looking through a hook that I could use, and I was like, oh, here's a section, 5 ways to turn your existing content into a best-selling book. And so just using the content in my book, I was able to go live on Facebook profile, and that hooked the attention of Candace, who watched the video. She's an author, and she teaches on mental health, and is really someone who I would enjoy working with. And she commented below, she's like, I want you to do a live video on my Instagram. And I was like, sure, let's go. And I connected her with my speaker manager and we started the discussion, and now she wants me to speak at her summit that she's going to be hosting. And it's all because of the live videos that I do on my platform. And what's really powerful is when you have, like, even if it's like a weekly content rhythm where you're just creating a video a week to just get you into the game. And I know I've been creating a weekly video, at least a weekly video, since like 2012. And this has helped me to gain the skills that makes the content creation a little bit easier. And so now I'm going to be doing a collaboration with Candace on her Instagram Live. And when I was speaking at events last month, one of our attendees was absolutely floored with what I was teaching, and he was loving it. And so we went live on his YouTube channel right there at the event, and he was sharing with all of his followers about some of the principles we teach and what we can cover, and inviting them to some of the events that I do. Now, these are great opportunities that you have to be able to go live and share with others. There's another example of a YouTuber that I spoke on who had over 230,000 subscribers at the time. And I went live on his channel, and we had an instant audience of like 8,000 viewers. And can you imagine, if I go live on my platform, I'm not going to get 8,000 viewers who are going to instantly be able to view my message, but because of leveraging other people's audiences, it allows me the opportunity to impact people who I otherwise wouldn't have access to. And from that live stream, I wasn't able to give a direct offer and to share something that I have, but I could do like an indirect, give them a free gift, what I call a crowd capture, give them a free gift in exchange for their email and opt in, their name and email. And so they could opt in into this free gift that I provided. And I can tell you from that one talk, that was a 2-hour talk, just an interview that we had together, that resulted in an added $3,000 in sales directly from that speech from within the next week. And so what's really powerful is through our automated webinars, through our sales system, we were able to get another $3,000. Now, $3,000 for 2 hours of speaking isn't like a whole lot of money. I'm not going to fuss about it, but hey, I'm glad that it's there. And but the opportunity to be able to get paid $3,000 for a conversation with someone I would gladly do for free, I mean, that's pretty exciting. And so this is really powerful to be able to leverage other people's audiences. And if just to give you an idea, now the video has 13,000 views, and to give you an idea of even just what 3,000 people look like online would fill the Wells Fargo Arena in Iowa. Here you see all around me, this is what the Wells Fargo Arena looks like. It has a max capacity of 3,000, and this is what it's like speaking to that many people. See, online, we often think about, oh, my videos are not getting watched, or I only have 3,000 views, or we're thinking like, oh, it's not that much. But if you actually put it in perspective, this is what 3,000 people look like. And this is the possibility that you can be communicating to when you learn to leverage these 8 platforms that I'm talking about. In fact, this is so powerful that I even have an entire implementation workshop where I just deep dive on this platform framework, and I show health educators how they can book these stages consistently and how they could identify. In this workshop, what we do is we identify how many stages do you want to speak on in a year? How many do you want to speak on in a month or a week? Is it once a week? Is it twice a week? Is it four a month, 8 a month? Like, how often do you want to speak? And then we identify how many of them are physical, how many virtual, how often would you like to share your message? And then we make sure that we could fill up your calendar with these 8 platforms that you can have profitable presentations with your signature talk. And as we do this for our clients, this is what you're able to do to impact people's lives. Now, question. Who here would like to speak to an audience of over 3,000 plus people consistently again and again and again? Type yes in the chat if you would like to share your message with the masses, because this is completely possible when you understand this platform framework and how to find the people. So far, what we're looking at in this platform, the P stands for podcast. The L stands for live videos. And friends, we are just getting started. These are 2 out of 8. So what about the A? The A stands for articles. Articles are great because, and we're talking about like blog articles. In fact, I did an interview with a mentor of mine, Bob Tiede. He wrote the book, Now That's a Great Question. And also, Great Leaders Ask Great Questions. He taught me so much about asking questions that it just changed my leadership forever. He has a company that's called Leading with Questions, and he has a written blog article that is viewed by thousands of people each week and all around the country. So I interviewed him, and it was all about some of the insights that I've learned from him, how he's impacted my leadership. And through talking with him, he said that this interview was one of the best interviews he's ever done, and that this like made his year. He was so happy about how that went. He invited me to be a guest contributor to his written blog that's sent to over 200 different countries. And what's really powerful with guest blogging is that you also have the opportunity to write articles and be featured in news, whether it could be health news articles or magazines or popular blogs in your niche. And what you could do is you could literally just take a chapter from your book, and that chapter oftentimes lends very well to a blog article because you've already got the books. You can now turn it into an archives or to increase your profile of being featured in media, to have access to other people's audiences where now they're listening to your book. And as you can see, I did that with my first best-selling book. I Want to Mentor, Now What Do? We turn some of the chapters of the book into a blog article that is now able to be reached and make yourself findable. And when people search for the solutions that they're looking for, you are able to show up in the search engines, and you're able to show up on other people's audiences when they already have hundreds of thousands of readers of your ideal clients. So that what's really powerful is when you take your signature speech, and one of the things we do is we help speakers and health messengers to take their message, package it into a book, and then you can turn this book into and we launch it to a bestseller, and then help you to package it on other articles if that's something, and other people's audiences if that's something you're interested in. So as you like, I help health focused entrepreneurs to write and publish and launch either their first or next book to bestseller within 60 days. So if that's something that is of interest to you, then I encourage you to comment best-selling down in the comments below, or go to the website on the screen, and you're welcome to find out how we could support you in this in your author journey, packaging your health knowledge into a book and get booked on stages. If you want to go from being overlooked to overbooked, then I know of no better way than being able to publish a book and then speaking on these 8 platforms. So the A in platform stands for articles. And articles. So what about the T? The T stands for TED Talks. How would you like to be able to share your message into an 18-minute TED Talk, something that can be seen by hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people? A lot of times when people think of the prestigious TED Talks, they think, oh, that's really hard, it's very exclusive, only few people can be a part of that. Well, it used to be like that, but now what a lot of people don't know is that TED Talks is actually easier to land than you think. Because not only is there TED, T-E-D, but there's also TEDx Talks, and most people don't really know the difference. But TED Talks are like this annual conference, very big, and very select people get invited to that. But TEDx Talks have been open. Think about TEDx, these regional, smaller TEDx events that are like independent groups that host events, and they've got them in large cities all across the nation and really the world. In Europe, in Africa, in Australia, and America, there's these TEDx stages all over the place, and it's easier to get invited to speak at these smaller stages, and you're still able to share your TEDx moment. In fact, here's an example of a TEDx talk. Here, you see this health educator, Dr. Daniel Amen. He's a brain coach, and he teaches people how to be brain coaches. And here, his TED Talk has gotten over 20 million views. If you look at the bottom left corner, 20 million views by sharing at this TEDx Orange Coast talk. And so you have the opportunity to be able to get booked and invited, and you could even submit yourself to be considered a speaker or to apply to speak at these events. And a lot of these smaller conferences are much easier to land these speaking engagements. And then you have the brand where you could say, as seen on these TEDx stages. And then other people who want you to speak on their stage are like, wow, you've been featured on TED, you must be an authority on your field. And that also increases your visibility in your business. Because here's the thing, visibility is profitability. And when you can learn to leverage these platforms and share your message with others, this is what's able to help bring more business back to you. So you have the T in platform. It stands for TED Talks. These are a totally viable way for health educators to get their message out to the masses. And I can't tell you how many of these TED Talks have gone viral, and these health educators who have found clients because of their TED Talk being the first introduction that they found to their health subject and their health expertise. And they often have health experts sharing various topics of insight and research on these, and sometimes even people just sharing their stories of their experience with their health transformation. It's the same principles you teach in your book, you could put in a TED Talk and impact people's lives by the millions. And so the F in platform stands for free events. What do I mean by free events? Well, a lot of times people overlook free events. It seems like people go to two extremes. It's like, one, they only do free events and they never learn how to get booked and paid to speak. And then another extreme is that they're like, nope, it's like, never do a free event. My time is valuable. I'm not doing it unless I get paid. Now, and it's like, I get that. It makes sense that you want to, like, your time is valuable, your message is valuable. But there are times when you would want to be willing to speak at a free event when you are able to receive something that's more valuable than money. And you might ask, well, what's more valuable than money? It depends on where you are, in what stage and phase in your business that you are. Because sometimes when I coach health educators and health speakers on negotiating their speaking contracts and getting booked and landing these big speaking engagements, one of the things that I'll share with them is you want to have a speaker fee, but you could use the language. Don't say I'm going to speak for free. Say this phrase. This phrase will take you far. I'm willing to waive my speaker fee in exchange for. And in exchange for what? In exchange for the recordings of the events. Sometimes they're hard to find events, or sometimes the recordings is really is going to be a powerful asset for you. You can turn the event recordings of your speech into an online course that you can sell and generate passive income through, and that could be an asset that you're able to carry with you wherever you go. And sometimes you could say, I'm willing to waive my speaker fee in exchange for the contact list of event attendees. So if you're speaking at a conference that has like 300 or 2,000 people, and they're your dream clients, they are your ideal audience of people who would be a really good fit for your coaching, for your business, then yes, event organizers are willing to exchange the event contacts, the name, email, phone numbers, sometimes addresses, for a negotiation of your speaker fees. And sometimes having access to that audience, sometimes the audience is such a great fit that you know that it may not be this event that's going to bring all the business, but there are people in the audience who are scouts looking for speaker fees for even larger conferences, health conferences, and with professionals that book stages. And these health conferences have budgets of tens of thousands of dollars that they're expecting to pay speakers to be a part of. And so that would make sense, where it would be worth speaking at a free event in those situations. And another reason why you might consider saying, I'm willing to waive my speaker fee in exchange for the ability to make an offer. And I'll just tell you flat out that the most money that you make, the money in speaking, is not really in the speaker fees. Speaker fees are great, but the real money is in the ability to make an offer and learning how to speak to sell. Because for the first 5 years, I got booked and paid to speak at different places and traveled around the nation, even internationally. And it was like I was doing okay. I mean, it was a blessing to impact people's lives and get paid and to travel and do things that other people would otherwise pay for. I remember the first time I got paid to speak, I was speaking at an event, and then someone was in the audience and she's like, hey, I really like how you're teaching. I was like 18 years old at the time, and she's like, you're so young. Would you be willing to speak and share at this youth conference where there's 3,000 people? I will pay for your flight. We'll pay you to go there, and we'll make sure everything's taken care of. And I was like, sure. And I've been a professional speaker since I was 17. But at this time, this was the first time that I got the first time I was in an airplane, first time I was staying at a hotel, first time I was it the first time I was on the East Coast? I don't remember, but I was able to fly clear across the country, and I was at this like paradise place in Florida, and I was just thinking, wow, people pay to go on vacations like this, but here I am getting paid to travel the world, sharing a message I would gladly do for free and enjoy the process. So it's really amazing. Like, the speaker fees are great, and sometimes they'll give you more so that you can actually take your family on vacation, go sightseeing in the area, and they encourage that. But really, it was when I learned how to speak to sell, that's when I was able to really start making more money. That's when I was able to have my first $40,000 day. But like even last month, for example, I got paid about $300 to speak at a local event, and the speaker fee wasn't much, but I was able to make an offer. And because I was making an offer, it made sense. So while the speaker fee up front was $300, when I made my offer to the audience, I made $8,000 on the back end. So the real business is learning how to speak in a way that is able to bring business back to you. Because you always want to be talking, no matter what platform you're presenting on. If you can't make a direct pitch to the audience, it's okay, because there are indirect ways that you're able to bring business back to you too. I mean, we teach in our speaker training, we have a whole workshop where we teach people how to craft a signature speech that becomes like an infinite sales message that you can deliver 3,000 times on 3,000 different platforms without the loss of persuasion. And you ask, like, how do you share the same message multiple times without losing the power of persuasion? The key is this. Here's the secret. You don't change the message, you change the audience. And as long as you are going to different platforms with different audiences, your message feels new to them. That's because it is. And when you learn how to craft a signature speech, this allows you to be able to sell from stage. And then these free events can become very profitable because you know how to make up for it on the back end. So how many of you would like to learn the stage selling secrets that will help you to be able to generate more sales to your business, even if you're speaking at a free event, to get an extra $8,000 or more from your speeches? Type a yes in the chat if that's you. So the F in platform, it stands for free events. Don't overlook the free events. And stop saying that you're going to speak for free. Just say, I'm willing to waive my speaker fee in exchange for. So you're not doing it for free, you're doing it in exchange for. And then you can find creative ways that you could exchange instead of your speaker fee with some other assets that may be more valuable than money at that time. And that is going to be a game changer for you when you learn to communicate in the right manner to these event decisions and these decision makers and these platform hosts. So the O in platform, what does that stand for? O stands for online webinars. Online webinars are a game changer. And I love these. In fact, I'm going to be doing an online webinar on Zoom in Scandinavia here in August, where someone that I've been speaking, he has a television network where he broadcasts throughout internationally on his platforms, and I've been doing some series over there, and he really likes my speaking, so he invites me back to share. And while I'm speaking at this international broadcast that he does, he's like, well, I think I could get together a group of health coaches, health experts, health professionals, and I would love for them to find out more about what you do. And so what we're going to do is I have a signature speech where I teach, I'm a certified health coach, now what do I do? And I realize a lot of people go through certification, they get their degrees, they go through the training, the health training, and they've got little to no business training or marketing skills that was taught in their certification. They got all these health skills, but they didn't learn any wealth skills. So people mistakenly believe that if I get another health certification, it's going to magically build their business and make them more credible, and that's going to bring in more clients. But the sad reality is, it is sales and marketing, that's the marketing skills. That's going to pay the bills. Learning how to attract clients, how to pick your profitable people that you're going to serve, and the profitable problem you're going to solve, and the profitable platforms that you're going to present your message on. This is what is able to keep the lights on and to scale the impact in your income and your influence as a health educator. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this webinar over in Scandinavia with Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark. We're going to come together, and I'm going to be making an offer there, and out of the people who say yes, we're going to split it 50%. So we're going to split the revenue, and so he wins, I win, and the audience wins, everybody wins when you create these strategic partnerships. So webinars are great to other people's audiences. In fact, I've got a masterclass, which is a best-selling author secrets masterclass. Here I teach people how to leverage a short health book to make big money with a small audience online. Like, the reality is, you don't need a big audience to make big money online. You just need to learn how to sell, how to speak to sell, and learn how to leverage other people's audiences. So if you want access to this masterclass, it's free to attend. Just comment best-selling below, and I'll gladly send you a link to this masterclass where you can learn how your book, whether you're an aspiring author or an existing author, you can learn some great insights from this 90-minute masterclass. And even like Jason Fladden, he is a man, he's known as the $500 million webinar man. He has generated over $500 million in sales through online webinars. Out of anyone in the world, I don't know who knows webinars better than this man does. And it's interesting, I was listening to a Instagram video from him a reel that he's doing. He's promoting a webinar he's about to do, and it seemed like he was like by the pool at a hotel on a vacation, and he's working on his laptop. And his wife was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm working on this slide. I'm going through all the weird niche industries that online webinars have worked for people, and that people think that webinars don't work for them. And I'm going to show them people that we've worked with in the past that do work." And he even mentioned like one of the obscure niches was like Christian-centered alternative health. And I was like, that's my niche. Those are my people. And yes, I know that webinars work for online health educators. And so that was interesting. And his wife was like, "How long have you been working on that slide?" He's like, "Well, this slide has been like 20 hours. And he's like, 20 hours? It's like, "Yeah, and I don't even know if I'm going to use it or not, but that's what I've got so far." And he's like, "How long does it usually take you to put together a profitable presentation?" He's like, "About 50 hours. And she's like, "What? That's insane." And this is what he responded. It was brilliant. He said, "The preparation that goes into creating one presentation may take me 50 hours if I'm lucky, but my presentations make me millions of dollars. So I think it's a good trade-off." And I want you to really think about that. Let that settle in. Like 50 hours for a signature speech might sound like a lot, but if you think about this one speech, like even in our business, our online health education business has been able to generate over $500,000 in profit on the back of one signature speech. And so is like 50 hours on a presentation to make $500,000, or in Jason Fladden's to make $500 million, is it worth it? Yeah, because you're going to spend those 50 hours doing something. And so many people, it fascinates me that so many people are too busy focused on what's not working that they don't have enough time to learn a skill like crafting a signature speech that's going to work for them. They're so busy being broke or so busy working on what's not working that they think like investing a little bit up front in a profitable presentation that can generate clients for them at scale, sell one to many, and impact people's lives and have real transformation, then that's too much. Where most people are giving a lot of information, you can learn how to bring about real transformation. And when you look at his speeches, literally one 90-minute talk can generate millions of dollars. And let's put this in perspective. So what's the alternative? You could work over at McDonald's, and I was looking up the average salary at McDonald's is a little over $25,000 per year. Now let me ask you a question. How many years would it take for someone working at $25,000 a year to make $1 million? 40 years. If it would take 40 years, and if you make $1 million, are you wealthy? It's like, well, it depends. It depends on what? How long did it take? Because you see, wealth is more measured in speed than it is in amounts. Because sure, someone working at McDonald's can make $1 million in 40 years, but you can learn from a webinar or from one signature speech, because I think the webinar is a platform, but the power is having a signature speech. When you have one persuasive, profitable presentation, you can deliver the same message on all of these 8 platforms I'm telling you about, and you can build a business. So you can spend 40 hours on, or you could spend 40 hours on a profitable presentation that can set your family up for a lifetime, or you can spend 40 years working at a salary job and only barely make $1 million at the end of your entire career. And for me, it was on the back of a webinar that I was able to have my first $40,000 day. Now, that's not a $1 million day yet, but we're working on that. But to be able to have $40,000 in a day, I mean, that really opened my eyes. That helped me to see something differently, because really, like, if you take what you would have made in a year and you learn how to make that in a month, okay, now we're talking. But if you take what that same amount in a month and you learn how to make it in a week, now we're getting better. But then to be able to make that same amount in a day by having a profitable presentation, like some people would say, like, I was talking to someone on a clarity call, and we were talking about how you could get paid $3,000 to give a 60-minute speech, and she's like, "Wow, that would take me 30 days of working to make that much." And that's exactly what we help our students to do: is learn how to make what would have taken you a month and make it in a day by having a profitable presentation. And so that just puts it in perspective. It's like, okay, a lot of time. Well, compared to what? Compared to what most people are doing, I don't think it's a lot of time. And that's where it's an investment. See, poor people, like struggling entrepreneurs, they spend time. Where successful entrepreneurs invest time in what they know is going to bring a return on investment. So and then here's another example. Like, speaking of investing, I invested in a workshop that people paid $10,000 to attend this training. And you're like, $10,000 for a 3-day event? Why is that? Well, it's because it was taught by a man who made $3 million in 90 minutes. He was speaking at an event. He learned how to speak to sell, and he made $3 million in 90-minute talk. And when you see what he did is he went behind the scenes, he went slide by slide, comment by comment. He said exactly what he did of why his presentation was so profitable. And for 3 days, all we did is we just dived deep, and we were looking into how to communicate in a short time in a way to help people to make a buying decision, help them to make a decision that's in their best interest, to help them to get from where they are to where they want to be. And this has been one of the most profitable skills that I've learned. And this is one of the skills that have helped me to make $10,000 a month in my early 20s, is learning the difference between speaking to teach and speaking to sell, because there's a big difference. And so, like, diving deep into this, I realized it's one of the most valuable things I've attended. So that's one of the reasons why we have a workshop where we teach people how to craft their signature speech. One profitable presentation that can generate unlimited sales for you, unlimited clients, and unlimited leads for your business. So the O in God's plan stands for online webinars. There's a lot of power in here, and they can be automated too. I love how my automated webinars are able to bring people to the webinar, and they're able to educate them, and they're able to place an order. And I love waking up to Stripe notifications with sales and saying like, "Oh, this person joined your program, and now they have access to our course." And then I get notifications, or I get messages of transformations and testimonies and reviews, and people are so happy that I sold them this course that has been able to teach them these life-transforming skills. And it's really rewarding. It's a blessing. Online webinars are wonderful. And so what about the R? The R in platform stands for retreats. Retreats and workshops. These are fantastic, where there's a lot of people doing health retreats that they go to these. And then also, if you like to travel, if you like to go to, if there's any destination you desire. I remember I was attending this speaker training, and this lady was talking about lifestyle speaking, and she was saying, "I love traveling, and what I've learned to do is as a speaker, I'll choose a country that I want to travel to, a location, just be a dream, desired destination. And I'm like, if I want to go to Hawaii, I'm going to go look up some retreats in Hawaii, and I'm going in my niche, and I'm going to apply to speak there. So then they're going to pay for the flight, they're going to pay for the food, they're going to pay for the housing and hotel, and now they're paid for your paradise stay. And you're able to teach on subjects that you absolutely love. And there are health retreats going on all over the world, all throughout the year, that you're able to choose these retreats and get booked to speak on. And many of them will let you present offers, they'll let you to speak, to find affluent clients who would be willing to pay for your health advice, premium price at that. And so retreats, workshops are a fantastic platform that you're able to go to. So the R in platform stands for retreats and workshops. What about the M? This is the final. The last, but certainly not the least, it stands for members areas and masterminds. See, members areas are great for a number of reasons, but number one is, if you think about, like, I'm talking about like a course. If they're members area of a coaching program or a course, the thing is, everyone you're speaking to when you put your message into their curriculum in their members area or speaking at a mastermind, these are people who've already paid a premium in order to learn or to gain this information. So they already value their knowledge. And the thing is, people who invest in training invest in training. So these are going to be better quality leads than just freebie seekers or people who didn't invest to hear your message. So there's a lot of people or entrepreneurs who I found out about and I ended up paying as for mentors because I learned about them from another mentor or membership area that I learned about or that I listened to them through. And so masterminds are when different people come together. They're successful individuals in their field. They come together and learn about a specific topic, and then and they pay a pretty penny to be a part of this membership. And so what you're able to do is you're able to speak to their audiences on your health expertise, and they're more likely to pay with you because these are premium buyers and they're looking for premium solutions. So members areas are fantastic, and I love being able to speak to them. In fact, one place I spoke at a school that trains naturopathic doctors, and while I was speaking to their audience, I shared my signature speech. I'm a certified health coach. Now what do I do? And in there, so many people bought my book on high ticket health coaching. But then the director of the school, she was telling me how this marketing is a piece that so many health professionals go through these trainings and they have no idea how to build the business. And she's like, that's not really my skill set. That's not what I do. I teach them about the health. And so what she said is she's going to make my book a required reading in her for her PhD graduates. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but I could even take this even further if you'd like. In fact, I'd be willing to do a video series on the same principles of my book, and we could have it as like a module in your campus, on your curriculum, for all of your doctors who are going and training and the PhD graduates. You can use those modules however you see fit, anywhere in your online campus. And as people are learning to be holistic health practitioners, then I could just teach the same principles but in a video, and it could be a companion with the book. And she's like, that would be amazing. So now we're working out the licensing deal so that she's able to license my videos, and she's just able to plug them into her members area. And what that does for her school is that not only does she give the health training, now she has the wealth training. And now she has the opportunity to serve her students at a higher level. And she's like, well, how are you going to get paid? And I told her, well, we'll have a licensing fee. And if you're interested, if you let me make an offer, then I could present an offer. And out of anyone who buys from that presentation, I'd be willing to share with you 50%. And she's like, wow, I would love that. And I'm going to teach her students how to publish a book. And what she says is, even people, she's like, this is perfect, because I tell my students all the time that you're going to have your, as you're getting your doctorate and you're going through this training, you want to take the knowledge, you're going to have to put together, I forgot what it's called, but what was it? Well, their thesis, she didn't say that word, it was something like that, but it's along those lines. It's like the thesis, but you're gonna have to create that anyways, so why not just turn that into a book? And she encourages them that even when you're going through certifications, if you're not finished yet, you want to learn some of the marketing, because it's just like any profession. If you're going to law school, you can't imagine that you're just going to graduate and have law firms knocking at your doors trying to bring you business, or clients who want to pay you, if you're not marketing yourself while you're going through the training. And so by learning how to publish a book, learning how to market your skills as you are learning the health training, a lot of people think that when I finish this health training, then I will learn the marketing. But she's like, look, you got to be marketing yourself now. This is what's going to help you to, when you graduate or get your certification, you're going to hit the ground running, and you're going to be able to have a business that can impact the world. And Enoch is teaching these principles that will help you to do that. And I'm like, that makes so much sense. So because publishing a book is something she often encourages her health educators for, and that's something where I help people to launch their book in days or weeks rather than than months and years, then this makes a great strategic partnership. And I'm happy to share with her 50% of my commissions, because those are clients that are now paying me who otherwise wouldn't have if it wasn't for her members area. And so these are great strategic partnerships where now she could actually charge more for her program, because she now has the marketing side of the training, where most health certifications give little to no marketing or business training, especially that are based on real world business principles of marketing methods that are working now. And so you could just think about who are those indirect competitors that you can provide complimentary training, put your signature speech in their members area. You can do your training in there, and then make an offer and split it 50-50. Or if they don't let you make an offer, you could just do a crowd capture and let people find out more. And then once they're on your email list, you can share with them whatever you want to. But it makes a lot of sense. Another example is, like, let's say you do coaching. You're a health coach, and someone only sells health courses. They don't do coaching. Well, that is not a direct competition. If you're trying to sell your health course in their health course, that might be a conflict. But if you provide health coaching, that's done with you. A course is do it yourself. That is an indirect, like, that's a value add that you can provide the coaching that your strategic partner may not want to have the capacity or desire to provide coaching. They just want to sell courses. That's another strategic partnership that you could do in these members areas. So there's so many different ways that you can work this out. But let's review so far what we've covered when it comes to this platform framework. You want to reach the masses with your health message. There's 8 platforms that you can share your health knowledge with the world. The P stands for podcast. Podcasts love authors. They love experts. They're always looking for guests. And the good news is these platforms are looking for speakers like you just as much as you are looking for platforms to speak to. So the L stands for live videos. Powerful. A is articles. You can turn chapters in your book into articles. If you're a writer, this is a great opportunity to reach more. T stands for TED Talks. They're easier than you think to land just by learning the process to be able to make that happen. F stands for free events. O for online webinars. R for retreats and workshops. You could travel the world doing health retreats, impacting people's lives, and getting paid a premium while doing it. And then M stands for members areas and masterminds. When you learn these things, these are the 8 profitable platforms that you can share your health message with others. And And if you're interested in being a part of any of this, like I mentioned, I've got a whole workshop where we dive deep into your signature speech. I've got a workshop that all we do is we look at these 8 platforms and we make sure that you are booked. And that your calendar is as filled as you would like to be able to have engagements where you're reaching your ideal clients and speaking to those who are looking for what you have to offer. And if this is something of interest to you, then comment best-selling down below, and I'd love to speak with you more. Thank you so much for watching, friends, and remember that God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. Have a great day, and God bless.